Course Studio is your main authoring workspace once a course exists. Whether Wayfinder generated the content or you're building it from scratch, this is where you're going to shape the learning experience. So let me show you around. So here in the Course Studio, you're going to see the course structure here on the left. And this is going to give you the main view of where all your courses are. So we're going to open up the most recent one that we've generated. And here is where you're going to either here's where you can manually create learning paths. You can add new courses. You can delete a course. And you can even change the course templates that you're going to be utilizing when you create those courses. So if you want to create something that's wholly you, that's original and is not going to be related to any generated content, this is how you would do it. Okay. All right. So now that we're inside of the course, let's walk you through this area right here. This is the course setup itself. So here you can see whether or not autosave is working. You've got repair reasons if you need to repair something. You've got approve and publish if you're ready to go. You can preview the learner view. This is going to be important if you want to see what the learner is going to see. Okay. And you have the option to regenerate the course. If it's a generated course, you can regenerate the final quiz, or you can restart the path generation. You can also export this in an XAPI, SCORM, even a .story format, PDF or PPT. So you have it in an option that you need. You can export that. Okay. You can also see here that you've got the role ID and you've got the course ID. Okay. These are going to be important if you're going to be using your AI assistant. So if you've got OpenClaw, Hermes, Claude Code, Codex, and you've got that connected through MCP to Wayfinder, then this is how you'll be able to identify the particular course that you want to edit or the particular role that you want to edit. Okay. For audience visibility, this is where you can set it up so that internal roles can see it. You can add customers, partners, or any combination of the three. And then for your path appearance, you can change your path color. And this is going to change what that path is going to look like in your LMS. So right now it's set to a default blue, but let's say I want to really make this stand out. I'm going to save that for my learning path. Okay. For the course itself, this is where I can set course audience. Again, customer, partner, any combination of the three. Okay. Now we get to the AI Assistant Knowledge Pack. This is path level, and this hasn't been generated because this particular course was a single course that was created within the general learning paths. But you can create, for a learning path, you create a knowledge pack, and this is going to be available for any role that you assign to a user. So if they're assigned that user and they use the Wayfinder context to pull in context for individual or corporate, then role-based context, this right here, is going to be populated and made available to their AI assistant. Okay. Other course settings here, you've got your design template, and then you've got your header image URL, and you can add a header image. And let's go ahead and do that really quick. Okay, and we'll see that as we go in and view this in the LMS. Okay, for related badges, if I had badges created, I could add that in here. And then here's where I can set up my coach strictness. So by default, for every course that's generated, the AI coach is going to be assigned to any block of text. So if it's a large block of text, instead of like a short description, if it's a large block of text, there's going to be enough content in there that it wants to do a knowledge check on. You can try this here, and you can set the coach retry limit. The 0 means you can retry as many times as you want, but you can set that up so that after 2 or 3, it's going to error out. Okay. Other things we've got here is the course title, the description, the objectives, and then the duration. And then we get into our sections. So every section is going to be essentially a slide, is the way it's designed. Obviously, that slide is going to have lots of text. So we're going to go in and look at that. So here we've got the slide title, the flow stage, and then the slide summary, and then how many columns are going to be in there. Now, 1, 2, and 3 are probably going to be the most common. I know 4 is there. Not sure when you would use 4 columns in a slide, but with 3 columns, anytime you have the text block in that column, that's going to be the widest column. So if you've got 3 columns and you'll have 2 columns that are kind of really narrow, and then the third column will be the wider column. Okay. Course Coach, you can set that to auto. You can show it or you can hide it. And you can do that per section. So auto means if there's enough content, it will add it. Show means show it regardless. And then hide means don't show it. Your slide background, this is going to change the background of the slide. This is part of the template of the individual slides. You can have each slide have a different colored background, or you can utilize the template, which has a background color for all of your slides. Okay, then here you've got your modules. So each of these are blocks. And here I've got my text block. And if I select that, you can see I've got the scene title. I can add that. Concept, full. This is going to be in the first column as opposed to the second column. And then I've got some quick, really easy text editing here. I can add images, videos, or I can clear that out. And here you can see the text. I've already added a video. And so on. Once I select my next section, these are going to be my subtasks. And this is an accordion item. And if I don't like it there, I can move it over to column 2. However I want to do that. And I've got my apply it section. This is for practice. So you can take this, practice in real life and see how it works. The 70-20-10 practice, this focuses on the self-study, your 70%, social learning, which is 20%, and 10% is applying what you've learned. And it talks about how you can utilize that. Rehearse decisions. This one right here is going to be a flip card format. So I can show the back. There's the forward. So I can do a flip card check. In column 2, I've got my tabbed view. So I've got my skills, knowledge, and attitudes. Then I can go through each of those tabs. So if I select skills, that's right here. There's my knowledge, and there's my attitudes. So as I select those, I can go in and then I can add additional tabs if I want to a tabbed view. Quick check. This is a single quiz question. Practice context. This is basically a text section, but it talks about how you can practice the concepts in real life. And then reflection. Think about how things are working, what you're doing, just general ideas of how you can move forward by applying this into your actual role. Okay. Now there are other tools that I can utilize. So we saw quizzes, we saw the scenario, presentation submission. So if you have a sales course that you're creating and you want someone to submit a presentation, that you would then later on grade, you can add the presentation submission. And this would give you um, just instructions on how the presentation should work, and then a rubric and evaluation guidelines for the instructor. The checklist is essentially just a checklist. Check things off that you've completed them. Very handy in sales training, just examples of kind of what you can add. Document will let you embed a document into the course, and you can either upload a document or you can link to a document that has been linked and added through your integrations, whether it's Notion or ServiceNow, HighSpot, so on. Image, video, and audio are all pretty self-explanatory. Interactive embed. So let's say you've created a course through Claude Design, and you really like this course, and you want to be able to embed it in and make this be the course uh, view for this particular course. This is how you would do it: is you'd use the interactive embed, and that way you can have all that HTML goodness that you've created and embed it directly into the course without having to export into SCORM and import into SCORM. You can do that too. We'll talk about that when we get to the LMS itself. But right now, that's probably the best way of applying it and being able to utilize it. Tabs, we've seen. Accordion, we've seen. And flip cards, we've seen. So those are the tools that you have available to your LMS. So when you're done, you're able to publish a course. Now, a couple things to remember. One is that anytime you publish a course, that course becomes read only. You will not be able to edit it, and you'll keep getting errors when you try. What you can do if you need to edit a published course is that you can open up a new version of that and then edit that new version. So that is an option. So second, when you finished writing and you finished typing out, you'll notice here autosave automatically saves it for you. So you don't have to go through and hit the save button every time. Okay. So if you're on a Navigator tier tenant or higher, then the Course Studio templates allow you to create a custom course appearance. So here you've got, so if we go to templates here, you see you've got existing templates that are already there. And you can create a new template. You just give it a name, you've got a description, and you can see here's the base template. You can change the base template values, your section background, title color, summary color, so on and so forth, and really clean that up. And then here's your color palette: background, surface, surface container lines, and then your text fonts. You can define what those are: radius and spacing, surfaces, template and branding. That's all set up, or template branding, that's all set up right here. So this is where you're able to add your logo and everything to the template. So at the bottom of every slide, there's a logo. You're ready to go. Okay. Well, hopefully this is helpful for you. You understand what this looks like. And our next video will be just as exciting.